Close your eyes for a moment and remember the last time anger took the wheel of your life. Feel that heat again. It starts as a small spark in your gut. Then it climbs up your chest like a wildfire, tightening your throat and clenching your jaw until your teeth ache. Your pulse thunders in your ears, a drumbeat of war against a world that has dared to offend you. And then the explosion. You say words you can never take back. You make gestures that shatter your reputation. You destroy relationships that took decades to build, all for a few seconds of feeling right. How did you feel 10 minutes later when the adrenaline ebbed away and the cold reality of your actions settled in? You felt hollow. You felt remote. Most of all, you felt like a victim. You blame the traffic. You blame your boss. You blame your spouse. Or you blame the person who cut you off. But here's the brutal, stoic truth that most men are too weak to hear. The moment you lost your temper, you became a slave. You handed the keys to your soul to a complete stranger. You let an outside event dictate your internal state. You were hijacked. Anger is a silent poison. It doesn't just ruin your day, it rots your character from the inside out. It ages your face, it stresses your heart, and it clouds your vision until you can no longer see the truth. We live in a world that thrives on your outrage. Social media, the news, and toxic people are all fishing for your reaction. They want you to be angry because an angry man is easy to manipulate. An angry man is predictable. An angry man is a puppet. Is that who you want to be? A puppet dancing on the strings of every minor or inconvenience? The Stoics men like Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful emperor of Rome, and Epictetus, a man born into slavery, knew a secret that our modern world has forgotten. They knew that anger is not an instinctive, uncontrollable force of nature. It is a choice. It is a judgment. It is a habit of the mind that can be broken, dismantled, and replaced with something far more powerful, unshakable stillness. You weren't born with a short fuse. You weren't born slamming doors or replaying arguments in your head at 3:00 a.m. You learned these behaviors. You saw them modeled by others, and you practiced them until they became automatic. But what was learned can be unlearned. This is not about anger management. We aren't here to put a leash on a beast. We are here to realize that the beast only exists because you feed it. Today, we stop the feeding. Today, we stop being victims of our own biology and start becoming masters of our own destiny. If you are tired of being emotionally exhausted, if you are tired of losing your dignity for things that won't matter in a year, then stay with me. This is where your transformation into a stoic warrior begins. There is a massive lie circulating in our culture today. It's the idea that a real man is a loud man. We are told that if someone disrespects us, we must strike back harder. We are told that aggression is the only way to command respect, and that silence is a sign of surrender or weakness. This is the ultimate fallacy. If you look at the most powerful men in history, they were rarely the loudest in the room. They were the ones who didn't flinch when everyone else was panicking. Aggression is a mask for insecurity. When you bark back at someone who insults you, you are shouting to the world that their opinion matters more than your own peace. You are screaming, "Look at me. I am hurt. I am vulnerable. You have successfully touched my ego." Does that sound like strength to you, to the Stoics? That is the definition of a slave mind. Epictetus once said that if someone were to hand your body over to a random passerby, you would be furious. Yet, you hand your mind over to anyone who happens to insult you. You allow them to decide whether you are happy or miserable. True strength is the ability to remain calm while the storm is howling around you. It is the discipline to look at a person who is screaming in your face and feel nothing but a calm, detached curiosity. It is the realization that their anger belongs to them, not to you. Why would you pick up a piece of burning coal that someone threw at you? Even if you throw it back, you are the one who gets burned first. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that the consequences of anger are always much more serious than the causes of it. Think about that for a second. The cause might be a spilled drink, a forgotten email, or a rude comment. These are trivialities. But the consequence of your anger could be a broken marriage, a lost job, or a heart attack. You are trading your life's gold for the world's trash. The Stoic sage is not a robot. He feels the initial spark of irritation. He feels the adrenaline, but he does not give it his assent. He does not agree with the emotion. When a rude person crosses his path, he tells himself, "This is what I expected." The world is full of such people. Why should I be surprised? Why should I let their lack of character ruin mine? By refusing to react, you maintain your sovereignty. You stay in the driver's seat. When you refuse to take the bait, the other person loses their power. They want a reaction. They want a fight. When you give them nothing but a calm, steady gaze, they are the ones who become unsettled. You become the predator, and they become the prey. This is the quiet dominance of the Stoic. It is the power of a mountain that refuses to move for the wind. If you want to live a life free from upset, you must master the single most important principle of Stoic philosophy, the dichotomy of control. This is the foundation of all mental freedom. It is the ability to draw a sharp, unwavering line between what belongs to you and what does not. The Stoics divided the world into two categories. Category 1, things under your control. This includes your opinions, your intentions, your desires, and your own actions. Category 2, everything else. This includes the weather, the economy, the past, the future, and most importantly, the thoughts and actions of other people. The reason you are angry is that you are trying to control category 2. You are trying to force the world to behave the way you want it to. You want the traffic to move faster. You want your boss to be fair. You want your children to listen the first time. You want your ex to regret leaving you. But here's the hard truth. You have zero control over these things. None. When you tie your happiness to things you cannot control, you are setting yourself up for a lifetime of misery. You are building your house on shifting sand. Imagine you are an archer. You can choose your bow. You can sharpen your arrows. You can train your muscles. You can aim with total focus. You can choose the exact moment to release the string. All of these things are within your control. But the moment the arrow leaves your bow, it is no longer yours. A sudden gust of wind can blow it off course. The target could move. The arrow could break. If you believe that success only means hitting the bullseye, you will live in constant anxiety. But if you believe that success means being the best archer you can be and releasing the arrow perfectly, you will always be at peace, regardless of where the arrow lands. Apply this to your emotions. When someone is rude to you, realize that their rudeness is external. It is a gust of wind. It is not under your control. Why would you get angry at the wind? You wouldn't yell at a thunderstorm for getting you wet. You would simply open your umbrella. Your umbrella is your mind. When you encounter a toxic person, you should think, their character is their problem. My character is my problem. I cannot control their tongue, but I can control my ears. Most men waste 90% of their mental energy worrying about things they can't change. They replay past mistakes. They fear future disasters. They obsess over what people are saying behind their backs. The Stoic cuts all of that away. He focuses 100% of his energy on the only thing that matters, his own response in the present moment. This is the ultimate life hack. When you stop caring about what you cannot control, you become invincible. You have no more enemies, because no one can hurt you without your permission. You are no longer fighting the world. You are simply navigating it with a steady hand and a clear mind. No man goes to the gym once and expects to be a champion athlete. No man picks up a guitar for 5 minutes and expects to play a masterpiece. Yet, many people read a few Stoic quotes and expect to never get angry again. It doesn't work like that. Self-mastery is a skill. It is a discipline that must be forged in the fire of daily life. If you want to remain calm in the middle of a major crisis, you must learn to remain calm in the middle of a minor inconvenience. You must treat your daily life as a gym for your soul. Every single day, the world will give you weights to lift. A red light, when you're in a hurry, that's a 5-pound weight. Lift it. Practice not sighing. Practice not tapping your fingers on the steering wheel. A slow internet connection that's a 10-pound weight. Lift it. Practice focusing on your breath instead of the loading screen. A passive-aggressive comment from a coworker that's a 20-pound weight. Lift it. Practice smiling and going back to your work. These small moments are not obstacles, they are opportunities. The Stoics called this premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. Every morning, before you leave your house, spend 3 minutes imagining everything that could go wrong. Visualize the traffic. Visualize the rude boss. Visualize the rain. Tell yourself, I will meet with busybodies, ungrateful people, and arrogant fools today. They are this way because they do not know the difference between good and evil. But I know. Therefore, none of them can touch me. By anticipating the chaos, you take away its power to surprise you. Anger usually comes from the shock of reality not meeting your expectations. When you expect the world to be difficult, you are no longer shocked when it is. You are prepared. You are like a soldier who has studied the terrain before the battle begins. But training isn't just about anticipation, it's about reflection. At the end of every day, sit down with a journal just as Marcus Aurelius did. Ask yourself, where did I lose my cool today? What triggered me? Why did I give away my power? How can I do better tomorrow? Do not judge yourself harshly. Be a gentle but firm coach. If you failed, acknowledge it and resolve to do better. If you succeeded, acknowledge the peace that came with your self-control. This daily practice builds a mental buffer. Over time, the space between the event and your reaction begins to grow. You become more aware. You start to catch the spark before it becomes a flame. You realize that you have a choice. This is the path of the warrior. It is a life of constant vigilance and constant improvement. You are not trying to be perfect. You are trying to be better than you were yesterday. And eventually, you will reach a point where the things that used to make you scream no longer even make you blink. You will have built a soul that is made of iron. If you want to be truly untouchable, you must do more than just think. You must act. The Stoics practiced something called voluntary discomfort. They believed that if you want to be unafraid of losing your comfort, you must occasionally give it up on purpose. This hardens the spirit and makes you realize that most of the things you fear are actually quite harmless. When you are comfortable, you are soft. When you are soft, you are easily triggered. A man who is used to a life of luxury and perfection will lose his mind if his coffee is slightly cold. But a man who has slept on the floor and taken cold showers will find a cold cup of coffee to be a triviality. Start small. Tomorrow morning, turn the shower to freezing cold for the last 60 seconds. Feel your body scream for warmth. Feel your mind panic. And then stay there. Breathe. Observe the discomfort. Realize that it is just a sensation. It cannot break you. By doing this, you're teaching your brain that you are the boss, not your feelings. You're training yourself to stay calm under physical stress. That training will translate directly into emotional stress. When someone yells at you, it will feel just like that cold water, unpleasant, but not fatal. Try fasting for a day. Skip a meal. Feel the hunger pangs. Instead of rushing to the fridge, sit with the hunger. Realize that you're still alive, still functional, and still in control. Most of our anger comes from perceived needs. We think we need respect. We think we need things to go our way. We think we need comfort. Voluntary discomfort proves to you that you need very little. It strips away the ego. It makes you lean and hungry for virtue rather than for pleasure. Seneca, a wealthy advisor to Nero, used to set aside a few days every month to live like a poor man. He would eat cheap food and wear rough clothes. He would ask himself, "Is this the condition I so feared?" When you realize that you can survive on very little, you stop being afraid of the world. And when you stop being afraid, you stop being angry. Fear and anger are two sides of the same coin. We get angry because we are afraid of losing something: our status, our money, our comfort, or our pride. If you have already practiced losing those things, they no longer have power over you. You become a man who can walk through fire without getting burned. You become a man who can lose everything and still stand tall with a smile on his face. This is the ultimate fuck you to the universe. You are saying, do your worst. I have already been there. I have already conquered myself. This is not about being a masochist. It is about being a realist. Life is hard. People are difficult. Fortune is fickle. If you are not prepared for the struggle, you will be its victim. But if you embrace the struggle on your own terms, you become its master. Anger is an explosion, but resentment is a slow-burning fire that consumes your house while you are still inside. Most men carry a heavy backpack full of old grudges. They remember what their fathers said to them 20 years ago. They remember how their ex-wife betrayed them. They remember the promotion they didn't get because of a lying coworker. They carry these memories like treasures, replaying them over and over, feeding the bitterness until it becomes a part of their identity. The Stoics had a very clear view on this. Resentment is self-inflicted torture. It is like drinking poison and waiting for your enemy to die. The person who wronged you has likely forgotten all about it. They are sleeping soundly while you are lying awake, grinding your teeth and rehearsing the conversation you wish you'd had. Who is the winner here? Not you. You are paying rent to a ghost in your own head. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." When you hold on to resentment, you are becoming exactly like the person you hate. You are becoming a person who is focused on negativity, pain, and destruction. You are allowing their past actions to poison your present moment. The Stoic does not forgive because they are nice. They forgive because they are selfish. They want their peace back. They realize that holding a grudge is a waste of mental CPU. It's a background process that is slowing down their entire system. Forgiveness in Stoicism is not about saying what you did was okay. It's about saying what you did is in the past, and the past is outside of my control. You cannot change what happened. You can only change your judgment of it. If you view yourself as a victim, you will feel resentment. If you view yourself as a learner, you will feel peace. Every betrayal is a lesson in the nature of human beings. Every disappointment is a lesson in the fragility of life. Stop telling yourself the story of how you were wronged. That story is the chain that keeps you in the prison. Release the story. Let it go. Not for their sake, but for yours. You have a limited amount of heartbeats left. Do you really want to spend 10,000 of them being mad at a person who doesn't even care? Imagine your life as a ship. Resentment is a massive anchor you are dragging along the bottom of the ocean. It's making your journey slow and painful. Cut the cable. Watch the anchor disappear into the darkness. Feel the ship surge forward. You are finally free. You are finally light. You have reclaimed the energy that was being wasted on the past and redirected it toward building a better future. A stoic warrior travels light. He carries no baggage, no grudges, and no regrets. He is fully present, fully alive, and fully at peace. We have come to the final stage of our journey. By now, you should realize that being a Stoic is not about being cold or emotionless. It is about being a master of your own internal kingdom. It is about realizing that your soul is an inner citadel, a fortress that cannot be breached unless you open the gates from the inside. The world can take your money. It can take your health. It can even take your freedom. But it can never take your character. It can never take your ability to choose your own way. The goal of this philosophy is to reach a state called ataraxia, a state of unshakable mental tranquility. It is the feeling of being in a deep, quiet pool of water while a hurricane is raging on the surface. People will continue to be rude. The economy will continue to be unstable. Politicians will continue to be dishonest. These are the givens of life. You cannot change them, but you can change the lens through which you see them. When you live as a Stoic, you start to see the world differently. You no longer see problems. You see materials. Just as a carpenter sees a rough piece of wood and thinks about the table he can make, the Stoic sees a difficult situation and thinks about the virtue he can practice. If life gives you pain, practice endurance. If life gives you success, practice humility. If life gives you a difficult person, practice patience. In this way, Nothing is ever bad. Everything is fuel for your growth. This is the ultimate secrets of the untouchable soul. When you transform every obstacle into an opportunity, you become a person that the world cannot defeat. Every time someone tries to knock you down, you use the momentum to jump higher. You become like fire. The more wind that blows, the brighter you burn. But remember, this is a lifelong path. You will stumble. You will have days where you lose your temper. You will have moments where you forget everything we've talked about. That's okay. Marcus Aurelius struggled too. He had to write these reminders to himself every single day. The difference between the Stoic and the average man is that the Stoic gets back up. He doesn't wallow in guilt. He simply says, I missed a rep. I will do better on the next one. Go out into the world today with your head held high. Do not seek out conflict, but do not fear it either. When you encounter the sparks of daily life, remember the pause. Remember the dichotomy of control. Remember that your peace is your most valuable possession, and it is not for sale. Be the man who can walk through the chaos and remain still. Be the man who can be disrespected and remain dignified. Be the man who owns himself. This is true power. This is true freedom. This is the way of the Stoic warrior. Now, take a deep breath. Release the tension in your shoulders. Smile at the world. You are ready. You are untouchable. And the world is yours to navigate. If this journey has changed your perspective, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video and subscribe to Stoic Spring to join a community of men who are reclaiming their power. Share your story in the comments. What weight are you lifting today? Stay strong, stay still, stay free.